Ready? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Englewood Cliffs Mayor and Council special meeting. Today, December 8th, 2017. It's 10:03 a.m. Madam Clerk, please have the roll call.
Mayor Kranjak,
Here.
Councilperson Zaversa,
Here.
E. Park, O. McMorrow,
Here.
M. Park,
Here.
Wu, Borough Attorney,
Present.
Borough Administrator,
Present.
and Municipal Clerk. Mayor, everyone is present except Councilpersons O and Wu.
Okay, thank you. Please all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please read the Open Public Meetings Act statement.
Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the press and posted as required. Date and time of this meeting was legally given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. This notice is on file with the municipal clerk and posted on the bulletin board. Minutes of this meeting will be made available to the public upon the completion of typing and proofreading by the municipal clerk.
Thank you. We have a resolution to go into, a motion to go into closed session, please.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the appropriate language?
Resolution 17225, resolution authorizing closed session at meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Whereas the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs has deemed it necessary to go into closed session to discuss certain confidential matters. Whereas the minutes of the closed session will remain confidential as permitted under the Open Public Meetings Act or shall be released when there is no further need for confidentiality as authorized by the Borough Attorney. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs will go into closed session for the following matters as permitted under Public Meetings Act NJSA 10:4-12. Pending litigation and regarding Borough of Englewood Cliffs docket number BERL 6119-15, affordable housing.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to come out of closed session, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So before we open up to the public, I just want to read a statement, which puts our position down, my position. As mayor, my administration and I support commercial development consistent with our applicable laws and ordinances. Normandy Real Estate Development acquired 700 and 800 Sylvan Avenue, also known as 9W, from Unilever, and publicly stated at planning board hearings that it would redevelop the commercial buildings into Class A offices. Normandy's application in this regard was denied by the planning board for several reasons, with subdivision demands and a proposed 9W facing parking garage being significant reasons for denial. Normandy is now looking to subdivide the property to construct a dense residential development with multiple levels, significantly exceeding our height restrictions. I am strenuously opposed. I'll repeat that. I am strenuously opposed to Normandy's new plan for dense residential development in Englewood Cliffs. I will keep you informed of where our fight takes us, and I would appreciate your support. My goal is to preserve the nature of the best town in New Jersey and not permit outsiders and their local supporters and local advocates to ruin it. Thank you. Have a motion to open up to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If there's anyone from the public who wishes to be heard, please come forward, state your name and address. What we're doing now is we're actually going to invite you to sit down here at the table. That way you're also, full disclosure, you'll be on the same tape that we're on. Okay? I see one hand. Yes. Come forward, please. Be careful, that door swings.
fair, 49 Irving Avenue. I don't know what you're talking about when you're saying supporters of outside people. Normandy Real Estate was an application that went before the planning board. It was a stellar application. There was nothing wrong with it. If there were minor things that could have been adjusted, I'm sure that could have been worked out. The fact of the matter is that every Republican voted that application down, and the Democrats voted for it because it was an excellent, excellent application. It would have brought a ton of revenue to this town. It was absolutely, it would have been a stellar building for this town. And because your planning board members that you appointed voted this application down, we now have a lawsuit for COA and dense housing. And my opinion is that you were not keeping your eye on the ball. You have not spent any time investigating and learning about the town, what your job is as a mayor, what the jobs of your appointees are to protect this town. Instead, you spent all of your time and energy harassing the police department and harassing Police Chief Chiappi.
So thank you for your
And you
feelings.
have had your eye
So-
off the ball.
Thank you for your
And
feelings.
that is why we have this situation today.
Actually, unlike you,
Your
I
appointees
don't support
don't know what-
subdivision. Unlike you,
I don't support it.
unlike you, I do not
Excuse me.
support
There
subdivision.
was nothing wrong with that
That
application. Would have been a lot better
application
for this
required
town than
subdivision.
low-income housing that we're faced with now. And your planning board members did not know how to handle the situation. And they should
application-
all resign.
That application that you're head over heels over had the right of subdivision in it, and that's why it was denied. Thank you, have a seat. Anybody else? Yes.
Karen Geiger, 270 Alfred Street. I have a question for the borough attorney. I want to know when you became aware of the fact that Normandy Associates, or actually 800 Sylvan Avenue, had decided to pursue a COA application.
I received correspondence on November 17, where they requested that piece of property, actually, they requested that 20 acres of that piece of property be listed on the vacant land inventory. 2 weeks later, it was followed by a motion.
Okay, thank you. And a comment. It's a shame, Mayor Kranjak, that you are so intent in your hostility. As someone who attended each of the planning board hearings on this particular issue, I am all too aware of what Normandy, of the give and take between the planning board and Normandy Associates as they presented their plan for bifurcation of the lot, where they were dividing the 28, where they were asking for a subdivision of a 28-acre lot into two parts, one part being 8 acres, and it was an existing situation, and the other to be separated. Don't shake your head. I know exactly what they said because I was there. You weren't.
If you're creating a false narrative, that's why I'm shaking.
I don't create a false narrative. They wanted to divide the 28-acre plot into two. One of them was 8, one was 20, almost 21, and the bifurcation that they asked for, the question before the planning board, was whether the bifurcation permitted enough of a side yard. The Normandy Associates didn't want any side yard, and the planning board felt that a side yard buffer was necessary. That was the issue, not whether it should be bifurcated. The other issue about the front parking garage was there, and I believe there was a third issue about noise abatement, which really is a municipal issue. But needless to go on,
15 variances in that.
there were many variances, but the three that they took issue with were those three. That's what's in the memorializing resolution. That's what they said when they turned it down. The dense residential, the significant increase in height are issues that most of us are strenuously opposed to. On that issue, I agree with you. But you opened the door to a COA lawsuit with this property by the irresponsible action of the planning board, and that is the problem that we are facing today. We had not too long ago, you told us that you had no problems dealing with COA, and all of a sudden you are now facing with hiring another attorney, because obviously you are not ready to handle this particular one. And if
I'll answer you after if you have a question, though.
I have a comment to make. Now, Christopher Martin, is he the attorney for the planning board currently?
Yes.
Yes, so you're hiring the attorney for the planning board to pursue the action against the mayor and council for a planning board action. Okay.
That's inaccurate. There's no action against the mayor and council for the planning board action.
There's an action against the town
Okay.
because they want to be allowed to intervene in the existing Mount Laurel suit.
And we asked if that was legal. We asked lawyers, and they said, because you create a false narrative, it's legal. It's
I
legal.
know
That's
it's
what we
legal.
need to be
That's
concerned
the
with.
problem, that it is legal. That is the problem. You open the door to a legal lawsuit
No,
by
that's your
denying an
opinion.
application.
That is your opinion, and it's incorrect.
Thank you.
I'm not finished.
Your time's up.
Oh, we're now timing. I just want this to be clarified that they're now timing
Well, you
us
you
when the
set it up.
public
You're
has
getting-
questions.
You're getting repetitive now, so please, thank you. I understand also that Ms. Geiger attended those planning board meetings and was heads over heels over their application, loving the fact that they were going to subdivide. So, that's a problem.
Okay,
That's a problem.
Please don't do that. Excuse me.
You've had your moment. Anybody else? Anybody else? Love to hear from you all. No? All right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Steve Duffy, 503 Floyd Street. My comment is to the attorney that she just made. Having been on the Board of Adjustment / Planning Board for several years, when an applicant comes before a board, there's no limit on how many relief they're looking for. So don't make that a point that they had 15 issues that they needed to amend on the property that they were looking for.
If I could.
You can
Want me
do,
to explain or no?
fire away.
Okay, so the planning board application, despite the indication of the minor, the characterization of this as minor, the planning board application was a significant application with multiple zoning variance requests, some of which were actually D variances, which are the most difficult variances to prove. They did not prove the elements required under law for those variances or for the site plan, major, preliminary, and final site plan approval and subdivision. That's what the board was disturbed about, is what is the public benefit? And frankly, from the perspective of looking in retrospect about the actions that were taken, this planning board application was styled as we want commercial, but within a week, they were filing for intervention in the COA application. So, the application...
Do you understand what you're saying right now?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I understand. I've done many board representations, and contrary to the implication that I couldn't do this litigation, we are appointing another attorney because my workload is overwhelming at this point at times, and I do not want to do a builder remedy suit. Now, the case may be tossed, it may not be. We're not going to talk about the litigation or their particulars. But the answer was not that planning board give approval for commercial, because they would have walked out of that hearing with the subdivision, regardless of what they said about commercial. They would have had a subdivision. So there is not, there is...
This is on tape, right? This is on tape right now?
To criticize the planning board,
I'm not criticizing, excuse me.
I
I appreciate your legalese,
Okay,
but I'm a resident of this town.
Okay.
We spent 23 years on the planning board and the Board of Adjustment.
okay.
My question to you was, please do not fault an applicant for bringing up issues on their property.
I'm not.
And
They
you-
had,
But you
I
said,
believe they
you
had
just said they had
at least two.
15.
I had...
It doesn't, here, let me, can I, as a resident, speak to the borough attorney?
Why are we
Wait a
screaming?
minute, wait a minute. Let me...
Stop, everybody.
Let me...
Where are you
Hold on a
going?
second. Address her respectfully or leave,
Mayor,
okay?
Mayor,
You're not being respectful. You're
respectfully,
attacking her. You
I'm
are-
giving her a chance to answer my
You're
question.
attacking her.
I'm not-
And she's answering your questions, but
Please
you're not
finish your answer.
satisfied.
Mr.
Please conduct
Duffy,
yourself properly.
Mr. Duffy, I did not...
And Mayor, please do the same.
Mr. Duffy, I did not attend the planning board hearings and the numerous hours of expert testimony from both the board and the applicant. I know that Normandy was the applicant, and mysteriously, by the time they got to the board, they had changed it to 800 Sylvan. There are things in the application that, if the application had been granted, would have laid the groundwork for what they want to attempt to do. Whether or not they really wanted the commercial is a question that I don't have to answer. Yes, there were more than 15 variances, but at least 2 and maybe 3 of them were significant D variances, including excess height of 60 feet on one of the buildings, including front yard parking, and parking structures on 9W, and some other significant variances. No side yard may not mean nothing, but asking for buffering in a side yard to a residential street is something that most developers would do. They didn't want to do that. They wanted their side yard variance. You need to understand that this application was not done in a vacuum. It's done for motivations that we don't know yet, but we do see the motivation with the affordable housing aspect of it.
With all due respect,
Yes, sir.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And Mayor, may I address you?
If you wish,
Please,
if you wish.
please,
Please what?
please oversee everything that you need to oversee in this town.
Is that what this is about? Is that what this is about?
That's my comment.
Yeah, I'm here all the time, sir. I'm working for this borough all the time.
Thank you for all your
And
time today.
despite people like you and the back there, we're still getting our work done, okay? Thank you. Despite all of
Mayor, please move
Despite all
on.
the false...
Please move
Despite all
on.
the negative social media...
Please move on.
Besides all that...
As a
we're
resident,
still getting our work done.
Please move on from the
Still
false
getting our work
narrative.
done. You
Okay.
came here today...
I came here
wanted to fight.
because I'm worried about the planning board doing the right thing
Well, if you
by
were
the
so worried
residents
for
of
the
this town.
23 years you were on it, you wouldn't have ruined the town the way you did. Thank you.
Can you,
Yeah.
Thank you,
We
everybody.
have illegal banks, we have a lot of things. Go ahead. Yeah.
can we?
All right, anybody else? Yes, Mr. Perino.
Russell Perino, 220 Fairview Avenue. Good morning,
Good morning. Thank you.
council members, mayor. I can't speak to the approval process and why we voted the way we did. I don't think that's fair to Normandy or to the board members. What I will speak to, though, is about where we are today. And I'd just like to comment that, from my perspective, what we do on the board, Mr. Duffy sat there for many years, I've, nothing but respect for him and anybody else who served on our board as volunteers. We did what we thought was right for the borough of Englewood Cliffs. And although appearances may be that we did something wrong by denying an application, I can only say that we did what we thought was right. It was a mixed vote, not split by who appointed whom. It didn't, that's not what happened there. People voted with their hearts, and it was a tough decision to make. And I believe, and I hope, that it will prove to be, in the future, the right decision for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. We are now in a place where none of us want to be regarding the COA intervention. Let's face it, we all agree with that. And I think that we did the right thing. And again, the jury will tell, it'll be told in the future if we did or we didn't. But rather than make the assumption that the planning board did something horrific and that members should be resigning, that's unacceptable. We're volunteers, do what we think is right. This is not about politics. It's about doing what's right for the borough. And I resent the request, the demand being made by those that get up at every meeting fighting everything that is done by this administration. This is not about this administration. It's about the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your guidance. Yes.
Lauren Eastwood, 4 Willow Drive. I just find it very curious that the same people who fought tooth and nail against LG's application because of its height now have no concerns over the significant height variance which the Unilever Normandy Properties application entailed. And I would urge the mayor and council to notify the interveners in the LG application, such as Scenic Hudson, of this litigation and enlist their support to preserve the view shed of the Palisades.
I've done so already.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Yes.
Adonis Morfestis, 26 John Street, Englewood Cliffs. We're in a tough spot, and the only question I have is the attorney that you want to hire. Does he have the wherewithal, backup, large enough firm to fight these people and win?
He does.
Or do we have to get somebody who's par excellence? I've seen it done in Dumont, and 8 weeks ago, or 9 weeks ago, or 3 months ago, I said what a disgrace happened in Dumont, where they took the Angelo Farms and then added, I don't know how many acres, to add 50 acres to rezone everything. It'd be a shame for it to happen in Englewood Cliffs. We're in this spot, we're a team, we have to win. The only thing I say, let's get the best pitcher, let's get the best batter, let's get the best coach. And that's my only reasoning. I could care less about anything else, because anything can happen, whether these people set it up this way to get a zoning and so on and so forth. I do building just like everybody else does building. I know the game. So I'm not blaming anybody, and it's not a point of blaming. The point is, let's win. Because if we don't, the scores, it's their field.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments. That's why we're here today, to appoint the right counsel. I'm highly confident in Chris Martin and his firm. He's an excellent litigator, and he's got a deep bench. So, thank you. Good. Kind of motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, can I have a,
Who seconded, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Mayor,
yes.
I just want to make a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say that I agree with everything that Mr. Morfestis is saying. I'm disappointed in the residents that came up here and immediately attacked the planning board. We are, at this point, one team. And we need to, for the sake of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs and for the sake of the residents, we need to be on one team. I don't believe anybody should be getting up here and you have freedom of speech to say whatever you want to say in that situation, and I understand that. But to get up and say that the planning board did something wrong, and to attempt to bring politics into it by saying your Republican-appointed planning board members is outrageous. Okay? It's outrageous. You should be ashamed of yourselves, and you should be standing together for the borough of Englewood Cliffs and for the residents of this town. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat at this point, everybody needs to stand together and put the best united front that we can to stop residential building in an area that's not zoned residential. That's all that we should be arguing about. And I don't think anybody sitting up on this council would disagree with me on that. Do we? We're all in agreement on that. That's what needs to be done, Mayor, and that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can I have a resolution to appoint counsel? It's Resolution 17-226.
Oh.
Yep.
Appointing special litigation counsel for litigation entitled and regarding to Borough of Englewood Cliffs, docket number BERL-6119-15, affordable housing. We need a motion and a second?
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O is absent. McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
And Wu is absent. Passes, Mayor.
A motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.